pressure changes everything. A decision that felt simple yesterday suddenly feels heavy. Time feels tighter. Emotions feel louder. And the consequences feel bigger. Under pressure, even capable people start doubting themselves. They rush, they freeze, they overreact, or they avoid the decision entirely. And yet this is exactly where leadership shows up, and not when things are calm, not when there's plenty of time, but when the pressure is real and the margin for error feels small. Welcome to Everyday Leader, practical leadership for everyday people, powered by emotional intelligence and real-life situations. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to make better decisions under pressure, not by being fearless, not by pretending stress doesn't exist, but by learning how emotionally intelligent leaders think clearly when it matters most. Now let's get into it. 1. Why pressure breaks good decision-making. Pressure doesn't make you less intelligent. It makes your brain less flexible. When pressure rises, your nervous system shifts into survival mode. Your focus narrows. Your body prepares to react. That's helpful if you're facing danger, but it's not helpful when you need judgment, nuance, and perspective. Under pressure, people often rush to close the problem, grab the first safe option, cling to familiar habits, ignore important details, avoid responsibility. And emotionally intelligent leaders don't fight pressure. They learn how to work with it. 2. Calm is not a personality, it's a skill. Some people seem naturally calm under pressure, but most of the time, what you're seeing isn't personality, it's practice. Calm decision makers have learned how to slow their internal reaction. Even when the situation is fast, they don't eliminate stress, they regulate it. And regulation is the foundation of good decisions, because when you can steady your emotions, your thinking becomes available again. 3. The first rule, regulate before you decide. Here's the most important rule of decision-making under pressure. If you're emotionally flooded, you're not ready to decide. That doesn't mean you wait forever. It means you take a moment to regulate first. This can be as simple as slowing your breathing, relaxing your shoulders, grounding your feet, pausing for 10 seconds. That pause may feel small, but it can be the difference between a reaction and a decision. Leadership begins with self-control. 4. Separate urgency from importance. Pressure creates urgency, but urgency and importance are not the same thing. Urgency screams, act now. Importance asks, what actually matters? Emotionally intelligent leaders slow down just enough to ask, what's the real problem here? What decision actually changes the outcome? What can wait and what cannot? This prevents you from making fast decisions that solve the wrong problem. 5. Use the next best step framework. Under pressure, people often try to solve everything at once. That increases anxiety. Instead, effective leaders ask, what's the next best step? Not the perfect step, not the final step, the next one. This does two things. It restores a sense of control. It creates forward momentum. Momentum reduces panic, and panic is the enemy of clarity. 6. Don't confuse speed with leadership. There's a myth that strong leaders decide instantly. In reality, strong leaders decide intentionally. Sometimes that's fast, sometimes it's deliberate. Emotionally intelligent leaders are comfortable saying, I need a moment to think this through. That sentence signals maturity, not weakness, because rushing to appear decisive often leads to avoidable mistakes. 7. Shrink the decision to its core. Pressure makes problems feel bigger than they are, so leaders reduce complexity. ask us what decision is actually required right now, what information is essential, and what is noise, what outcome am I responsible for. When you strip a decision to its core, clarity returns. 8. Use constraints as guidance, not threats. Deadlines, limits, and restrictions often feel like threats, but emotionally intelligent leaders treat them as guides. Constraints answer important questions. What's realistic? What's available? What's required? Instead of resisting constraints, leaders work within them. This turns pressure into structure. 9. Avoid the all or nothing trap. Under stress, thinking becomes extreme, and it's either success or failure, right or wrong, win or lose. But most leadership decisions live in the middle. They are adjustable, they evolve. When you release all or nothing thinking, you regain flexibility, and flexibility is power under pressure. 10. Use values as a compass. When decisions feel overwhelming, values simplify them. Ask, does this align with integrity? Does this respect people? Does this serve the long-term goal? Emotionally intelligent leaders don't just ask, what's fastest? They ask, what's right and effective? Values reduce decision fatigue because they narrow your options naturally. 11. Don't outsource your judgment. Under pressure, it's tempting to ask everyone for opinions. Feedback can be helpful, but too many voices create confusion. Strong leaders listen, but they don't outsource responsibility. They gather input, they weigh it carefully, then they decide, and they own the outcome. Ownership builds confidence, even when decisions are hard. 12. Know the difference between risk and fear. Fear feels urgent. Risk is measurable. Emotionally intelligent leaders learn to ask, what's the actual risk here? What's the likelihood? What's the impact if it goes wrong? Often, fear exaggerates risk. When you evaluate risk calmly, decisions become less emotional and more strategic. 13. Decide, then commit. One of the biggest sources of stress is post-decision doubt. You decide, then immediately second-guess yourself. Emotionally intelligent leaders do something different. Once they decide, they commit. They focus on execution, not regret. If new information appears, they adjust. They don't replay the decision endlessly. Commitment reduces mental noise. 14. Learn to recover, not avoid. Good decision makers don't avoid mistakes. They recover quickly. They ask, what worked? What didn't? What did we learn? This mindset removes fear from decision making, because when recovery is possible, pressure loses its grip. 15. Use this simple pressure decision checklist. When you feel pressure rising, run through this checklist. Am I regulated? What actually matters right now? What's the next best step? What values guide this choice? Am I deciding or reacting? This creates a mental pause that protects judgment. 16. Don't let emotions make the decision for you. Emotions contain information, but they are not decision makers. Anger wants speed. Fear wants safety. Stress wants relief. Leadership asks for wisdom. Emotionally intelligent leaders listen to emotions, then decide from clarity. 17. Pressure reveals habits. Under pressure, you don't rise to your potential. You fall to your habits. That's why practicing calm decision-making when things are not urgent matters. Small decisions build muscle memory. So when pressure hits, you don't panic, you respond. 18. Silence is a tool. Sometimes the best move under pressure is silence, not avoidance, stillness. Silence creates space for thought, and space is where clarity lives. 19. Accept that no decision is risk-free. Waiting is also a decision. Avoiding is also a decision. Emotionally intelligent leaders accept uncertainty, and they choose progress over perfection. 20. Pressure is a test of alignment. When pressure rises, ask, who do I want to be in this moment? Not, how do I escape this? Identity shapes decisions, and aligned decisions feel steadier, even when they're difficult. Final message. Pressure doesn't destroy good leaders, it reveals them. When you learn to regulate your emotions, simplify complexity, and decide from values instead of fear, you don't just make better decisions, you become someone others trust in critical moments, someone others look to when things are unclear. That's leadership, not loud and not rushed, not reactive, but calm, clear, intentional. In the next lesson, we'll explore how to stay calm when everything feels urgent. You'll learn how emotionally intelligent leaders slow down chaos, protect focus, and lead effectively, even when everything feels like a priority. Watch it here and keep growing as an everyday leader.